Okay, well, hi, Travis.
Hi Dan, how you doing?
I am great, thank you. How are you doing? Welcome home.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it feels great to be back finally.
And how many days have you been back now? Have you been counting them?
So I came back on Monday, and it's now what is it? It's a Friday today, isn't it?
Right.
I've already lost count of the days. So yeah, I mean over a week. So yeah,
Time
quite a
flies.
while.
Time flies. Well, congratulations, first of all, on your world record. The youngest solo pilot to circumvent the world. It's fantastic. Congratulations. How does it feel to be a world record holder?
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, it's quite actually a strange feeling. So much planning and preparation has gone into this for so many years. 3 years I've been planning this for, and it's working really hard for it. And it's just such a surreal feeling. Being back now and it's all over, and I don't have to worry about where I'm going to be staying for night, or where I'm going to be eating, or what's the weather like tomorrow. Not worrying about that now. It's all very strange and surreal, but it's great to be back home.
And so, obviously, you wanted to start flying when you were really young, but when did you get the idea of actually wanting to circumvent and fly around the whole world? Was that back when you were 10 as well, or a little bit later on?
Yeah, it was a little bit later on. I was about 10 years old when I first read a book called Wings Around the World by
Mhm.
Polly Vatcher, and that was amazing story about a woman in the early 2000s who flew around the world twice actually in a Piper, and that's sort of what gave me the idea of this. But it wasn't until I flew solo in a glider at 14, and at the same time I read a magazine article about someone called Lachlan Smart, and he broke this world record, the youngest person to fly solo around the world
Right.
that year, and that's really what inspired me to go and do this, and I started pushing towards that since then, and that's what gave me the goal to do it.
Fantastic. And you mentioned gliding there. Now, so tell us a little bit about how you got into getting to your private pilot's license. You started out with gliding?
Yeah, that's right. So I started with gliding when I was 12 years old. My godmother got me a trial gliding flight in a glider, and since then I just got hooked onto flying. I continued my gliding training. Eventually went solo in a glider when I was 14 years old, as I mentioned, and yeah, that's what taught me the basic stick and rudder skills. So yeah, the basic
Brilliant.
flying, and so. Kickstarted me, I guess, into my powered aircraft training, as I already knew how to fly an aircraft. Sorry, so that's really how it started. Was starting on gliding, and then
Yeah.
eventually moving on to powered aircraft. Yeah.
And obviously, so your family and friends, or your family was a member of your family was responsible for giving you that present or that gliding experience. How else have they supported you through all of this?
Yeah, so a lot of my family and has been really helpful. They've encouraged me on, and my parents helped barely fund the early flying lessons. So they were really helpful for that, and they're really supportive. You know, letting me do this. A lot of parents wouldn't let me do this; they'd be too scared. So I'm really grateful and hugely thankful for that. Yeah.
And and so aside from the flight training and the hour building, the instrument rating that you've got, and the night rating, what other types of training and preparation have you had to do for this trip?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of sea water survival courses. So ditching, have an engine problem. Obviously, got one engine. If I ever had an engine problem, having to crash land in the sea safely, how to do that, how to survive, how to use the life raft, what equipment to bring, how to use the equipment. So a lot of that sort of stuff. I also did some mountain training. So flying around mountains, what it's like to be around there, to experience it all. And I mean, as well as that, just using the equipment that I had on board. Learning how to use the autopilot, how that all works, and as well as that, getting some experience with the Iridium satellite phones as well. Learning how to call everyone and contact my dad and my mum and air traffic control, which was needed quite a few times. So yeah,
Yeah.
getting used to a lot of the equipment. Yeah.
And so you mentioned some of the challenges that you could have faced. What was the perhaps the most difficult challenge that you faced during the flying?
Well, I think the most difficult challenge is actually the loneliness. Being by myself for such a long time, not being able to, being out of radio range of air traffic control as I was flying over Siberia, and there's just nothing below me except Siberian wilderness for thousands of miles, and having just to rely on the aircraft and hoping that I get to my next waypoint in radio range. And so luckily I had, of course, the Iridium stuff on board to contact my parents while I was flying, and so that definitely helped a lot. And so it was really great to be able to call anyone, and kind of helped with the mental challenge of being all alone. Yeah.
So did you anticipate that? Just talking a little bit about that loneliness, and obviously you've got 6, 7, 8 hours of flying ahead of you, and you're going out of radio contact. Okay, you've got the sat phone, but had you anticipated how that would make you feel?
No, so I mean, I was anticipating, the flying's gonna be hard, and I said, why about all this weather? This is it's gonna be challenging. But yeah, no, I mean, I had no idea just how mentally challenging it would be. As in, not like calculating stuff all the time. As in, the challenge of being all alone. So that I really didn't counter that in, but that's definitely something that I've learned to deal with now. Yeah.
Great, that's great. And talking of challenges, obviously the pandemic nearly put paid to the whole trip, didn't it? But how did that affect you overall, the trip overall?
Yeah, that's right. So I was planning to actually complete this trip last year and break the world record at the age of 17 years old. But obviously, unfortunately, that's when the pandemic first broke out. And at first, I thought, that's the trip over. That's the end of it all. But I kept thinking about it, and I worked out, I could still fly around the world this summer, and I still beat the record by about 2 weeks. So I could actually continue pushing for that, and actually worked out as much more of a blessing than a curse. I got a lot more experience, a lot more hours, managed to fly around the world on a much better aircraft, and just had a great time there, training more, and it worked out very, very well, and so very grateful for that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's great. It did work out very well in the end. And obviously, we know that communications are critical to what you did and essential in flying in such remote areas. But from your perspective, what was the primary role that Iridium and then Spider Tracks ended up fulfilling for you?
Yeah, I think the primary role was communicating with my parents and friends, and air traffic control in a lot of situations, and Spider Tracks as well was really, really crucial for letting my parents know that I was okay, letting all my followers see what I was doing, and it's quite relieving to have people knowing where I was all the time. And I gave the details to a lot of the air traffic control people as well, so they could all see where I was. And a lot of the times, with the Iridium phones, it was the only form of contact in a lot of these places. I had to do an unplanned diversion into Russia, and this airport had no cell service or anything like that. So luckily, I had all the Iridium equipment, had the Iridium phones, the Iridium Go, and so I landed. I called air traffic control over the phone. And then the next morning when I departed from there, they gave me the clearance over the Iridium phone, and absolutely great. And so without that Iridium kit, I would have been stuck there for until I had a phone shipped to me, or probably wrote a letter or something to air traffic control. So it's really great to have, and also very, very useful flying over the North Atlantic as well. These Iridium phones are much more reliable than HF radio. I mean, it worked everywhere. That worked perfectly over the trip, and I spent hours putting a HF radio on board to be legal, but I didn't need to use it, as I had these Iridium phones on board, which I used instead, and it worked great. Yeah. We saw the
install there being made up in, I think, in Canada, wasn't it? Just before you came across, thinking, well, there was 2 pieces of string. Obviously, it wasn't. But glad to hear that the Iridium system. And we're really, really happy that you had the kit. But let me ask you this. So, obviously, you're really glad that you had the Iridium kit on board. What was there? Was there an item that you thought, I really wish I'd had a something, or whether it was a box of Jaffa cakes or something else?
Right, that's actually, yes, yeah. So I the trip actually went, yeah, really, very, very smoothly. It went, everything went extremely well. So I think the only thing, yeah, I gave a lot of my Jaffa cakes away to the to some Russian kids. So I wish I brought a bit more Jaffa cakes with me. But yeah, I'm not really sure actually what else I could have brought with me. Yeah.
So, well, let's switch course a little bit here and talk about the partner charity that you supported.
Sure.
Yeah, but remind us who that was and how that worked.
Yeah, so I chose to support Unicef, the partner charity I was helping, and the reason I actually chose to work with them was my dad used to, film in war zones and disaster areas, and saw what the work Unicef did, and helping with children in all these places, and well, really, that's how I got the idea. My dad saw the amazing work, and I thought, I, I have to support these guys here. They're just an amazing work they do. So that's why I'm hoping to raise some money for UNICEF. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And a couple of last questions I have for you here, Travis. But having set out and achieved, which is, I'm sure you'll look back year after year, look back at that trip and be impressed and remember fondly. But was there something that you kind of learned about yourself during that trip that you perhaps wouldn't have otherwise come out?
Yeah, well, I think I learned to myself that I can handle pretty scary situations. I can stay calm under pressure. I thought I'd be panicking in a lot of situations but I stayed calm, and I think it actually helped out a lot.
Yeah.
Had some scary moments over the Rocky Mountains, and I handled it extremely well. And I think I learned that I can as long as I just stay focused on the task, I can stay calm, and
That was that incident you're referring to, wasn't that? That was downdrafts it was pitch black, right? So
that's
very,
right.
yeah.
Yes. So I stupidly decided to fly over the Rocky Mountains. It was about midnight at this time. Flying up to Montana from Las Vegas,
Right.
and as I'm flying along, I encounter a mountain wave. So sinking out on the downwind side of a mountain, and I'm dropping down. I'm dropping below the minimum safe altitude. Without any sight of the ground or anything. And I stay calm. I just turn around, don't even request from air traffic control, aviate, navigate, communicate. I aviate, turn around, navigate, go on the complete opposite heading, and then I communicate with air traffic control and told them what happened, and they were all fine with that. So it was great to stay calm and work. And I actually managed to look at the spider tracks track after that, and I could see exactly how much altitude I lost, and actually worked out it was still actually about 6,000 feet above ground when I dropped to my lowest altitude. So luckily it worked out fine, and it was great to look at that on spider tracks. Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of people watching you on your public link, and obviously Spider Tracks folks and ourselves here, we were watching you all the way around. It was good to see a couple of maneuvers you see every now and then. You think, I wonder why he did that. You had a couple of false starts, or you turned back due to weather, didn't you? I think just leaving in Russia, you had was it an ice storm or it was freezing
That's
weather?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I had to turn around in Russia, and this was actually in this the airport I was talking about in Manili, Russia, with no service. So I landed there, took off, had to come back, unplanned. So that was a difficulty, but I mean, it was a few times. My dad was actually I was doing an instrument approach procedure into an airport, so you have to sometimes go past the airport and loop back around to come onto the runway. And a few times my dad was landed and he was watching me on spider tracks. He was like, "Travis, I thought you'd lost the airport because you flew past the airport," and stuff like that. So it's that's quite funny. But it's definitely had some cool to see the tracks. Yeah.
Right. And then finally, there's a lot of young aspiring pilots, boys and girls that watched you. I forget how many followers you have, but it's thousands and thousands, I know, and you've inspired so many. What advice would you put out to those guys and girls?
So I'd say to the younger generation, keep pushing towards your goals, keep aiming, keep going towards that, and don't let anything or anyone put you down. Don't listen to what anyone says. If they try to put you down, just keep pushing towards your goals, and eventually you can achieve those dreams and those aims. So keep pushing and keep going, and
that's
good luck.
You've certainly achieved your at least 25,000-mile goal that you set yourself. It's absolutely fantastic. It's been great to talk to you, Travis. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
There's other adventures coming up that you've got planning, and we look forward to hearing about those in the future. And good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. There will absolutely be some future adventures, so we'll definitely keep in touch with that. Absolutely.
Well,
thank you so much.
Take care now.